So I've got this little clamping tool from AliExpress, and it means that I can do just checking all of the caliper pistons. As you can see, there's a bit of corrosion in there, so I'm going to pop it out and check the seal. Best way I found to pop it out was actually putting a Allen key through here and just push it through. So I suspect this side was sticking as well, because I had to actually use the brakes to push the piston through, so I've lost a bit of fluid, but I bought a new bottle of fluid anyway because I thought this might happen. I've got my clamp on, I've given this a good clean out. See all inside. I'm going to blast it with a bit of WD-40 as well. That's what that is. That's not water, but just so there's no fluid in there, and just make sure this is nice and squeaky clean. I might just get a bit of that grubbiness off anywhere that might stick. All these tiny little tears, they will not be good news in the future, so I actually find using the mitre glue is really good for just, I had that on the other side that was seized, so I'm just going to pop a little bit of that on, and then that works nicely. See? Actually holds pretty nice, so that'll do. Okay, so this might help someone who gets in a similar situation that I did when I was doing the brake caliper pistons. As I made the mistake of using the brake itself to push the piston out, but when it came out I lost quite a lot of fluid there from the brake fluid, which then meant the reservoir dropped too low, and then that meant that air got in to the top, which I think entered where the ABS module is, where the pump is. So in hindsight, what I did for the other sides is I actually used an air compressor, connected that to where the brake fluid goes in when I've taken the caliper off, so fully compress the piston so you don't lose as much fluid. Use the little tool to bung off the brake line, and then an air compressor pushes the piston out. Just be careful it doesn't blow off in your face. But anyway, the thing I was finding is even then I was bleeding the brakes, I was still getting a squishy brake pedal because there was air still in the system. So if you've got a Foxwell scanner or something similar, you go into the BMW section and it will take a moment to load up, and select BMW. I'm going to do automatic selection of my VIN. I don't know if that's going to show that. I don't really want the rest of the world to see that. Okay, so I press pass on that, and then where are we next? So basically the idea is what you want to do is get the ABS module to actually pump, and there's a thing that is on the you know, the Insta, whatever it is, laptop thing that BMW use, where it triggers the hydraulic pump to do a certain vibration. The idea is it's quite violent, and it helps dislodge bubbles in those little tubes that pop out of the ABS module. But you can do it in here. If you go into service, chassis, wheel slip control system, and then bleed routine, what this will do is do that vibration thing that I'll get the window open so you can maybe hear it. Okay, so that's what that does. It's more of a vibration on the pump to help dislodge bubbles from the little tubes. And then you go into the mix-up check brake lines, and in here what it will do is tell you which one to start with: front left, front right, front rear, rear right. Ideally jack the car up. You can do it by just squeezing yourself underneath the car and then use something to lift your you know, little brake fluid collector device. All you need is a bit of tube and a bottle. I was actually recirculating the brake fluid a few times, so I was carefully, the crappy stuff had come out, I then started collecting again to recirculate. Ideally, probably should have just kept putting fresh in the top. But anyway, and then when you press this, it will go through each front left, front right, and what you'll do is you'll have the bleed nipple open, you'll have your tubing connected so you don't get a leakage, you've got it raised up so you don't get air wanting to go back in when you've stopped the process, and then you press that. So if you heard that, that's actually triggering the ABS. You'll get an ABS warning light because the ABS is on, and then it's pushing fluid around, and you'll go through each of these different stages. I did this a good few times and also pressed the brake pedal a few times afterwards and then repeated the cycle, and I did see some bubbles come through on the side where I'd had the leak occur from. So but yeah, I did that through the whole car, did it round and round cycles, and actually now the brake pedal feels perfectly fine. But it's just worth knowing for anyone who gets into a bit of a issue like I did, where I was like, for fuck's sake, I'm going to have to book it into BMW, and I think they charge about 100 quid to just do a brake bleeding service, which, you know, I say just, it is obviously involves some experience to know what to do.